Western power asks the USSR to join the new League of Nations, the UN, United Nations. They promise that this organization is going to prevent any more conflict and create a place where leaders of nations in the world can gather to discuss issues of the world in what they call General Assembly. And Churchill himself has promised our leaders starting in Yalta that this will ensure welfare and world peace for at least 50 years. We, as allies to the British and United States, are also to be one of the main and permanent factors in the Security Council, one of the councils that decide the direction of the world. At this biggest state of our union, we can risk this opportunity to balance power with other superpower in the world. As any conflict with other nations could mean our need. With power to negotiate with the world, we can ensure our union's safety.
No.
We are Russians and we are here to talk about the UN.
It was formed on the 26th of June, 1945. It was formed to replace the League of Nations and maintain peace and promote cooperation and solve international social, economic, and humanitarian problems across the world.
How will the UN work?
There will be 5 principal elements of the United Nations. The first is the United Nations General Assembly and the appointment of 5 permanent members to the Security Council. The General Assembly will meet under its president on a yearly basis. All countries in the world will be a part of the Security Council.
The second is the United Nations Security Council, which will compose of 5 main permanent members to have the power to veto any resolution. The 5 permanent members will be in China, France, United Kingdom, USA, and of course the Soviet Union, who obviously deserves a spot in the council for doing so much in the Great Patriotic War. Of course, with the Soviet Union and the Security Council, it will make us a world player just like we deserve to be. It will make us a world player along with the Allies.
The third element of United Nations will be the United Nations Secretariat, and it will handle the information studying and facilities needed for the meeting. The Secretariat needs to have the highest standards of efficiency, competency, and integrity. So obviously it would need to be a Soviet, like glorious Marshal Zhukov.
The next element is the Economic Council to help with the managing of the world economy and funds. But obviously we don't want the Allies messing with our communist economic system. We want our economy to stay independent of interference. Finally, the International Court of Justice. It will have 15 judges elected by the General Assembly. But of course, we want our perspectives of justice represented in the Council along with the Allies.
In conclusion, the UN will make countries like the USA and UK and people like Truman and Churchill not control the post-war world. It would also let Grand Marshal Stalin express his and the Soviet Union's opinions and would make sure the world is run with equal power.
In the Second World War, from 1939 to 1945, the League of Nations failed to prevent this war from happening. This is why they introduced the United Nations. Another reason why they set up the UN is to promote international peace and to solve international economic and social problems. Kinda can't even see it. Australia is determined to be a part of the UN to enhance security, improve economic and social well-being, and strengthen environmental protection worldwide. Ben Chifley is the Prime Minister of Australia during this time of the United Nations setup. Herbert Vere Everett is the only Australian that helped write the draft of the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights.
Du bist der Ton erscheinen, treuer sein für alle Tage. Nein!
After World War II, the League of Nations disintegrated and created the United Nations. The United Nations were created to stop future wars and to give every country a voice.
Now we will talk a little bit about the structure of the United Nations. We will form the Security Council, China, France, Russia, USA and UK, but you will be one of the non-permanent members in the Security Council, so that's also pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
The General Assembly will be formed by one person from each country.
One person.
Your leader at the current time, Kyle Donuts, will be very proud of you for making this decision to join the United Nations. We want you to join the United Nations for no more Nazism. And there will be peace on this earth, and you will be the first step. So please join.
Du hast mich.
The United Nations. The UN has been set up to secure peace, human rights and human development, to prevent discrimination and to help in the protection of the environment. The UN will take important international matters and discuss with the General Assembly, who are members of participating nations. Actions and measures will be taken to resolve these problems. The Secretary General, Gladwin Jebb, will then promote these to the public, ensuring that we as a nation know what is happening. The UN is bound to be an internationally recognized organization, and being a part of this will provide and enable Germany to have a stable government, not looking back on the ruling of the National Socialist Party. We will also recommend and assist Germany in promoting and electing a new leader to run our country. The UN will also allow Germany to once again run the country independently without the support of the British, French, Americans and Soviet Union. The UN will also support Germany economically, which is imperative after the suffering from the war.
The United Nations, better than the Treaty of Versailles.
The United Nations is set up with the aims of creating world peace, social progress, economic development, human rights, international law and international security.
The UN will be organised in 3 different ways: General Assembly, Security Council and the Secretariat.
General Assembly is the main assembly of the United Nations. Security Council is focused on maintaining world peace and security in the world. The Secretariat provides studies and information facilities required for the United Nations in their meetings.
The United Nations will benefit America because we want world peace. It's my job to convince the other allies that it will also be beneficial for them too.
It's my job to follow through with Roosevelt's visions, as I too believe that the United Nations creating peace can benefit the rest of the world.